The world falls away into white silence as we cross the threshold into the high Arctic, where the sun abandons the horizon for months at a time and darkness becomes its own kind of weather. Here, at the very top of the world, lies Ellesmere Island, ancient wilderness carved from ice, wind, and time itself. Nothing soft survives here. Nothing accidental exists. This is a place shaped by extremes, where the land remembers eras long before humans walked the earth. The cold arrives first, like a warning, an invisible force that freezes breath mid-air and turns exposed skin to stone. Temperatures plunge so low they seem to break the rules of nature, dipping toward -60, where even sound feels slower, heavier. Yet in this frozen void, life persists quiet, deliberate, defiant. The land stretches out in all directions, an unbroken canvas of polar desert and glacial mountains, untouched for thousands of winters. Ellesmere's mountains rise like shattered teeth from a frozen ocean, the northernmost mountain range on Earth. Their jagged peaks catch the faint starlight of polar night, reflecting it in cold, sharp glimmers. Beneath them lie valleys so isolated that a single wolf pack may rule one for generations, never crossing paths with another. The air is so clear, so empty of warmth, that a whisper can travel farther than a footstep. This is a land imprisoned in ice, older than civilization. Massive shelves-meter-thick blue giants cling to the coastline, relics of an ice age that refuses to surrender. Some have not broken for 3,000 years. Their surfaces are a maze of pressure ridges and frozen waves, each one a sculpture shaped by wind that blows unchallenged across the Arctic Circle. Below, the ocean is a silent world of black water and drifting shadows, where ancient icebergs groan under their own weight. As the long night deepens, the sky becomes a theatre of movement. The aurora slides across the darkness like a living river green, violet, red shimmering over ice fields that have never known the warmth of summer rain. The lights ripple, as if the sky itself is breathing. The cold is so complete that the aurora seems close enough to touch, like silk draped across the heavens. The wilderness glows, and for a moment, the Arctic feels alive with color, even as the ground sleeps in monochrome. Yet not all life hides from this eternal winter. The muskox appear like prehistoric ghosts wandering the tundra, their shaggy coats sweeping the snow, their hooves breaking through crusted ice in search of lichen frozen to the earth. Their breath hangs in clouds, drifting like steam from a forgotten engine. These animals have survived what mammoths could not, a testament to endurance in the harshest environment imaginable. Farther north, where daylight has not touched the land in weeks, a shadow moves across the snow with purpose. The Arctic wolf, pale as the moon itself, is both hunter and survivalist. Here, packs may number only a handful, yet they roam distances that collapse human imagination hundreds of miles across barren tundra, tracking muskox herds through wind-carved valleys. These wolves know isolation intimately. Their world is silence, distance, and instinct sharpened by hunger. As the months drag toward the faint hint of dawn, the land begins to shift. Not in warmth, but in light. A thin blade of blue appears along the horizon, subtle, reluctant. The polar night is ending. In the half-light, glaciers tower above the tundra, like frozen rivers, captured mid-flow. Their surfaces gleam with impossible colors: cyan, cobalt, ultraviolet. These massive ice walls move a fraction of an inch each year, grinding stone to powder beneath their weight, leaving behind canyons that look carved by the hands of giants. Wind sweeps across the land, shaping snow into ridges that mimic desert dunes. Drifts curl like frozen waves. Every sound, every footstep, every crack of ice echoes through the emptiness. Here, absence is presence. Silence has its own voice. This is a wilderness defined not by what exists, but by what is missing. Trees, warmth, shelter, roads, noise. The Arctic is a place sculpted by subtraction. The sun finally rises, flickering low across the horizon like a candle hesitating before burning. It casts long golden beams across the snow, igniting the icy plains with a glow that feels unreal. Shadows stretch for miles, thin and deep. This brief season of light transforms the glaciers into cathedrals of crystal. Meltwater channels snake through the ice, catching sunlight in bright, shimmering pools. But the warmth is an illusion here. Summer is simply winter with a softer voice. The wildlife senses the change. Arctic hares dart across the tundra with speed that defies their bulky forms, their white coats blending seamlessly into the landscape. Tiny lichens and mosses awaken beneath the snow, clinging to life in microclimates warmed by the brief touch of sun. In the distance, a solitary polar bear wanders the sea ice, searching for seal breathing holes hidden beneath the frozen crust. Its massive paws spread its weight, allowing it to walk across ice that would swallow any other creature. The bear is both monarch and prisoner of a kingdom that is melting beneath its feet. But despite the hardships, the Arctic remains a place of paradox, a desert made of water, a land of darkness filled with light, a frozen wasteland that sustains ancient life. Here, time feels slower, yet the landscape is constantly shifting, ice forming, breaking, drifting, reforming. The island breathes in geologic rhythm, inhaling winter, exhaling summer, repeating year after unending year. In the heart of the island, the mountains hold secrets older than the continents. Their rock is Precambrian, formed more than 1 billion years ago, and bears the scars of ancient collisions between primordial landmasses. Layers of sediment folded like pages in a stone chronicle tell the story of Earth when it was young. Even today, the ground here rises and falls with the slow pulse of isostatic rebound, the Earth adjusting to the retreat of glaciers that once buried everything beneath a mile of ice. As the light grows stronger, the land reveals more detail. Subtle colors emerge: blues in the shadowed snow, pinks in the distant clouds, gold in the thin sun. But beauty here is never separate from danger. The ice shelves crack without warning, thunderous booms rolling across the landscape like the roar of distant avalanches. Fissures open beneath the snow, hidden by delicate crust. Every step in this land is a negotiation with the unknown. Still, there's a strange comfort in the emptiness, a purity found only in places untouched by human footprints. Ellesmere is one of the last true wildernesses on Earth, a sanctuary where life follows ancient rhythms, unaffected by roads, noise, or industry. It is a reminder of a world that once existed everywhere. Primal, unforgiving, magnificent. As the brief Arctic summer reaches its zenith, meltwater rivers lace across the tundra like silver veins. They flow for only a few weeks each year before freezing again, capturing tiny moments of motion in a world defined by stillness. Birds arrive from thousands of miles away: snow buntings, long-tailed jaegers, sandpipers, each taking advantage of the fleeting season of abundance. They build nests, raise young, and depart before the cold returns to reclaim everything. But the island remains unchanged at its core, eternal, unyielding. As the sun dips toward the horizon once more and the first hints of polar night creep back into the sky, the Arctic begins its slow return to darkness. Wolves retreat into the shadows. Bears wander farther in search of ice. The aurora gathers beyond the horizon, preparing to reclaim the heavens. Soon, the cycle will begin again: light fading into darkness, warmth into cold, sound into silence. Ellesmere Island will stand unmoved, an ancient sentinel guarding the top of the world, a realm where time feels suspended and the earth speaks in the language of wind and ice. And in this place of extremes, where life fights for every breath and the cold carves truth into stone, we are reminded of something simple yet profound. That untouched wilderness does not need us, but we, in ways we often forget, still need it. Here, at the edge of the world, the earth feels timeless, and as the Arctic night rises once more, the land whispers its quiet message. Some places remain wild, so we never forget what the world once was.